Spellbound, Chapter 29. Great plan, except I wasn't sure how to look into the bodyguard situation. I guess Lucas wanted me to check out the possibility that Frankie Salas was in desperate need of cash, so desperate that he betrayed the cabal. I liked that explanation. It exonerated Bryce. Unfortunately, I already forwarded Salah's details to Paige, and she sent back a clean bill of financial help. He rented an apartment that fit well within his means. He had a reasonable loan on his car, and he paid it every month. His credit history was clean. If this guy owned money, it was for something less legitimate: drugs, gambling, women. But if he was that kind of guy, he never had made it through the background checks to become Bryce's bodyguard. The only other thing was to search Salah's apartment in hopes that if he was involved in Lawson's kidnapping, he have left evidence there. People do that all the time, even smart people. Home is private, home is safe. At least until a squad of cops show up with a search warrant. So I called Troy and asked him what I could expect in the way of security. The only thing my place has is a cat, he said. She's not even mine, just a stray that lives in the garage and will probably follow a thief home. I will spend most of my days guarding Mr. Cortez and most of my nights sleeping at his place. Even guys who are home more don't bother. They're bodyguards. It looks bad if they think they need high-tech security. Don't they need to protect their stuff? Not much there if you're a career bodyguard. Definitely not Cabal secrets. We don't get a lot of paperwork. Well, yeah, I do, but that's because I'm in charge of the guard staff, and you can be sure on my rare days off, I'm not taking it home. Anyway, bodyguards aren't privy to Cabal secrets. Like hell, I said, I bet you know more than anyone in the company, including Benacil. He laughed. Why do you think he keeps me around? But you can also bet I'm not writing anything down. It all stays in my head where it belongs, which is what made him the best bodyguard in the business, and hopefully one who knew what he was talking about when it came to other bodyguards. Cassandra was so lost in thought that when I stopped outside Salai's building, apartment building, it was like she snapped out of a daze, exclaiming, "Is this it? Are we prepared? Shouldn't you have tools?" I raised her, insisting that she promised to get the tools, but it was clear, so she was distracted. She wasn't sure I was joking. I told her about my conversation with Troy, and she agreed that he made sense. So we conned our way into Salah's apartment building. After I picked his lock, she tested inside for inhabitants. When we were sure the place was clear, I sent her outside to guard the parking lot and warned me if Salas came home. Then I began my search. His apartment looked more like the secondary residence for a guy who only visited LA a few days a month. A few clothes in the closet, terminal toiletries in the bathroom, a bottle of ketchup, and a case of beer in the fridge. The only reason the guy even had to lock his door was a TV and a couple of game consoles. It quickly became apparent that this was a waste of time. I went into the bedroom for one last look through Silas' clothing. A floorboard creaked behind me. Didn't I tell you to wait? I turned as a man lunged at me, big and brawny and dark hair, Frankie Salas. I tried to dart past him. He grabbed me and clamped his hand over my mouth. Cast a spell and I ripped out your fucking voice box, witch. I kicked his kneecap. Excuse me. I kicked his kneecap. My boot heel hit sharp and hard enough to make him relax his grasp. I wriggled out and danced back. We need to talk, I said. Someone reported that this activist group made contact with you. I'm sure you didn't join them, but I need to ask if... His right fist swung at my gut. As I dodged it, he caught me with a surprise chop to my throat. I gasped and heaved, unable to breathe. He grabbed for me, still choking. I managed to slam my fist into his stomach. I might as well have been slamming it into a brick wall. I fought. I do know how to defend myself, or I could. if I wasn't fighting a guy twice my size. I figured out fast that I wasn't taking Salas down, so I set my sights on the door. He figured that one out fast and didn't let me near it. I like to say we fought for an hour. It was more like 10 minutes. 5 if I was being honest. He finally pinned me to the wall and jammed a dirty sock from his floor into my mouth. You think I don't know why you're here? He said. You're planning evidence to blame Bryce for the kid being taken. I shook my head and gestured that I could explain. But he still thought I was capable of casting spells and wasn't taking the sock out. You're a greedy little bitch, he said, just like your mother. You think you can get your hands on Nas money by pretending to be one of them. Well, you're not. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. I could point out that my mother had never named Kristoff as my father. A smelly gas squashed that plan. Salas didn't need my input anyway. He was quite happy doing a solo rant. You've sucked in Sean, he said. I know he gave you a trust fund. He's a decent guy, and you took advantage of that. But you can't pull that shit on Bryce. He's a lot smarter than people give him credit for. Someday he's going to be the CEO, and I'm going along with him, which is why I'm not about to let any rich skink spoil his chances. I motioned that I wanted to talk. He ignored me. So now, what am I going to do with you? I know what I'd like to do, dump your body in the Pacific. But if anyone found out, Bryce would get blamed, so I'm thinking. Frankie? It was Bryce's voice. How long does it take you to get clean clothes? Silas kicked the door shut, just getting changed. And you're afraid I'll peek? Just hurry up, okay? Silas leaned closer. You wait here. I need to get rid of Bryce. I nodded. Sadly, Silas didn't seem inclined to just let me sit on the bed. He grabbed handcuffs from his drawer, and seeing them there earlier, I suspected they weren't for wood. He didn't seem to have a lot of practice using them, though at least not on women who were struggling as he fumbled. His grip on my gag relaxed enough for me to bite him. He opened and I yanked free. Frankie, Bryce said. Silas came at me. I backed out of his way. Listen, I whispered. I don't want Bryce to find me here either, but you're not putting me in those cuffs. Leave now and I'll hide, and we can pretend this never happened. You got a girl in there, Bryce called. I don't have a problem with you stopping home for a booty call, but I don't appreciate being lied to. I paused. Frankie? Silas and I faced off, then he charged. I ducked out of his way, but he knocked my shoulder and I hit the dresser with a bang. Okay, that's it, Bryce said. Just because I don't treat you like an employee doesn't mean you can act like I'm a loser friend who doesn't even deserve a response. The door flew open before Silas could grab it. You show me some respect, or Bryce stopped short. Savannah, it's not what it looks like, Boss Silas says. And what does it look like? That you know she seduced me to get to you. I'd never do that. I didn't think you would. Not unless your idea of seduction involves a split, lit, torn clothing and handcuffs. Bryce paused. Well, it could, but I'm sure that's not what's happening here. She broke in, Silas said. Planting evidence to blame us for that missing kid. No, I said. Don't you see any evidence on me? Go ahead and search. I didn't bring or leave anything. Do you think I'm stupid? Silas said. I watch TV. You planted hair or DNA or something only the crime scene team can find. The Cortezes took that kid, and you volunteered to frame Bryce, so you took samples from the boy. Is that what you think? Fine, I turned to Bryce. Call Sean. He's with Lucas. Tell him I was found here and tell him what your bodyguard thinks I was doing. That will taint any forensic evidence and exclude. If Sean tells him to exclude it, Silas said, maybe he'll decide that this is an easy way to take Bryce out of the running for the CEO seat. I appreciate your loyalty, Bryce said, but I'm not in the running for CEO. Even if I were, Sean would never do that to me. But maybe. No, he's right, I said. Sean wouldn't do that. He doesn't even know I'm here. That's why I never planned evidence in the first place. Given the choice between believing me and believing Bryce, it's no contest. Bryce would win. A look passed behind Bryce's eyes. That's one that said he wasn't so sure. Yet everyone who knew Sean knew that his little brother came first. When he turned to me, his voice cooled. So what was going on here, Savannah? I told him the same story I've been trying to give Salas. Lucas had heard Salas had been seen with the members of the Supernatural Liberation Group. Converting the personal bodyguard of a Cabal's son would be a serious problem, so I broke in to investigate the allegations, but I didn't find anything. Of course not, Salas said, because no one ever approached me. Who thinks I did it? Bryce said. Did what? He met my gaze. You're not chasing down leads on this group. You're investigating Lawson's disappearance like Frankie said. You didn't come to plant evidence. You came to look for it. So who thinks it's me? I bet it's Sean, Salas said. Anger flared in Bryce's blue eyes. Would you stop that? It's not Sean. It would never be Sean, he turned to me. It's Lucas. Isn't it? What has he found? Found? If you're breaking into my bodyguard's apartment, it's because Lucas has found something that he thinks points to me. False evidence planted by the real kidnapper. There's no... Of course there is. Lucas wouldn't investigate me without a reason. At least give me the chance to prepare my defense and to find the guilty party. Whoever did this will feel the full wrath of the Nazca Cabal on their heads. Bad enough if strangers steal from us. Worst, if it's one of our own. I hadn't said we suspected someone inside the Cabal. No one had said that. When I looked at Bryce's face, tight with worry, eyes fixed a half-inch to the right of time, I saw guilt. He did it. No, not Bryce. Why not Bryce? Because you don't want it to be him? I remember Davis saying the job had clearly been the work of an amateur, someone young with a high position at the Cabal, who could get the access to pull off the job, but didn't have the experience to do it right. Someone who might know Sean's password with the dials. I thought of all the times Sean had confided in me about Bryce. He's so angry, Savannah, not just at you, at everything and everyone. With me, he just hides it better. But there's so much anger and resentment. He's not cut out for legal work and he hates it. He tries so hard to find his place at the Cabal, and he looks over and sees me breezing through, and he loves me. But anyway, he hates me too. If Gales and his group wanted a high-level Cabal recruit, one with plenty of frustrated ambition, they wouldn't have to look any further than Bryce. Savannah? I don't know what Lucas has, if anything. He just asked me to come here and check out your bodyguard's apartment. You didn't ask what he had? I'm a junior investigator. Hell, 2 weeks ago I was just a receptionist. No one tells me anything. But they could. Don't ask me, Bryce. Please don't ask me. You can find out what he's got, right? He smiled, struggling to make nice, as painful as it was. Give your brother a chance to defend himself. That was the first time he ever acknowledged any relationship. He was playing me, and it hurt. It hurt so much because I wanted it so bad. He won't tell me, I said. But whatever it is, we're still in the early stages of an investigation, and we're a lot more interested in getting Lawson back than punishing his kidnapper. If he was just, returned, that would be the end of it. Lucas would stop investigating, and we turn our attention back to this group and forget all about the kidnapping. Any doubts about his involvement vanished when I saw the look in his eyes. It wasn't the look of a god who inherited our grandfather's merciless brutality, or even our father's ruthlessness. It was the look of a kid who got in way over his head, trying to be something he wasn't, something he thought others expected. It was a look of terror and regret, and a desperate plea for help. And it vanished in a blink. Are you suggesting that Did have something to do with this? Of course not, I said. I'm just saying, If anyone else here knows who did it, even if he wasn't involved, maybe he could pass along a message. I shot a not-so-discreet look at Salas. Bryce studied me, and in that unexpectedly piercing look, I saw a flash of our father. It's not too late, I said. This can be fixed. Hope flickered in his face, but it didn't last. He made a mistake, and he wanted an exit strategy. But he didn't trust me to provide one. He didn't believe it was that easy to fix this. He could tell I didn't believe it either. I'm not going to complain to the cabal about this break-in, he said, but I asked you to pass along a message to Lucas. Now that he's working for his father, he can't do things like this and claim impartially. He should think very, very hard before he decides to investigate a member of another Cabal family. He looks at Salas. Let's go. I'm sure Savannah will lock up when she leaves. He was going to run. I could tell by the way his hands trembled as he fused with his jacket. He was going to run, and he was testing to see if I let him lead. If I thought he was guilty, and I thought he was going to fall, then I should stop him. Had it been anyone else, I would have. I wanted to, but I just stood there, dumbly watching him. He made it as far as the door, then looked back. Savannah. I can fix it, I said. I really can. A wistful smile, a lost little boy smile. Then he hitched up his jacket and said, There's nothing to fix, and opened the door. He took one step and bumped into Cassandra. She stared up at Price, then over at Salas, then at me. Everything's fine, I said. Salas closed the door and his footsteps echoed down the hall. Good thing I decided to check up on you, she said. They didn't come through the parking lot. I believe I suggested that wasn't the best place for me. I know I was wrong. Yes, well, if everything's fine, then she peered at me. It's not fine, is it? What happened? It's Bryce, I said. He took Lawson and the Dows. What? Did you find? Nothing, I said. I didn't find anything and he didn't say anything, but I could tell. He was behind the kidnapping. I can't let him leave or he'll run. I reached for the door handle, but it was like moving in slow motion, the door a million miles away, the knob refusing to turn. Cassandra grasped my hand. They're gone, Savannah, and even if they aren't, you can't stop him. We can't stop him. Not with that brute of a bodyguard. And not when you don't have proof. Call Lucas and tell him what happened. If Bryce is innocent, then he'll head back to the Cabal and this can all be sorted. And if he runs, her hand wrapped around my arm, then he runs and you did the best you could. But I hadn't, and we both knew it.